Whenever you're ready.
Oh my God.
Jessica! I've never been called a fox!
Dana.
That's a classy name for a Harry.
I like it classic.
Okay.
Do you?
Welcome to the Rants and Raves podcast.
Sure.
Out with the bad and in with the good, motherfuckers.
That's right.
Jessica.
Dana.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. I want to say right off the bat, I feel like we're both kind of talking quiet.
We are.
We should tell our listeners it's because it is midnight.
It's a late night recording
Late
session.
night recording, and my son's asleep.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to wake up, though.
I hope not. Is he a deep sleeper?
Yeah, he's a pretty deep sleeper.
So am I.
Yeah. So it's fine, but I noticed that we're both like, hello? Hi, Jessica. Before we get started, I'm just going to get some business out of the way.
Let's hear that business.
Let's talk about how you guys can get in contact with us and why. We really want you guys to hit us up. Tell us if you like us or you don't, because we have no idea. We're just sitting in my back room at midnight. Maybe nobody's listening to us. Who knows? But also because we want to hear what you guys want us to rant about. Let us get out your frustrations for you.
Totally.
We're going to rant that out and then tell us about your hometown heroes, charity organizations you've heard of, any good news. Let us share that for you. Let's build this strong community out with the bad and in with the good. You can reach us at Instagram and Facebook at the Rants and Raves podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Raves_the. I still don't like Twitter.
Me neither.
I know. And you can find us on our website, therantsandravespodcast.com, or you can email us at therantsandravespodcast@gmail.com. Please, guys, give us a 5-star review so people can start seeing us and we can find new listeners.
Yeah.
And also to make us feel good. I don't know. Write a review, subscribe, all that junk that all the podcasts say. But it really does matter. It makes a difference for us because we show up in feeds and things like that.
Yep. Tell your friends about us.
Please. And your enemies. Maybe we'll make them nicer.
Or teach them a lesson.
Exactly. We will be your vocal piece to shame people. Jessica.
Yes, Dana.
How was your week?
It was great, thank you.
Yeah?
It was pretty jam-packed. I did lots of different things. I had several shows this week, which is not the norm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I had family in town, and we did a tourist day in LA.
Yes.
And that's always interesting, fun, and or weird to do in your own town if you haven't done it and you have out-of-towners.
I know. We were talking about this in our pre-show on my porch.
Yeah.
How when people come to visit, we do things that we never do when we live here.
Totally.
I guess it's that way anywhere, but here I think it's even more heightened because it's such a tourist attraction kind of place.
I'm sure it's like that also for people who live in New York, though. Like, everybody wants to see the Empire State Building or go to Times Square, and then you get there and you're like, please get me out of here.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But it was really fun and awesome to see my niece and nephew. They're adorable.
I just saw my nephews.
I know.
So Jessica and I actually haven't seen each other for a couple of weeks.
It's so weird.
It's weird. You were traveling for a little bit and then we got together to record just to get us through when I was traveling. So we haven't seen each other very much, but I went home and we surprised my dad for his 70th birthday.
So awesome.
It was amazing. He literally just froze. We walked in the door and everybody said surprise, and there were like over 50 people there, and he just stood there for a minute looking around and he goes, boy, I didn't see this coming.
So Gary Jean.
Oh, Gary Jean. It was good. It was interesting. My mom was in the hospital at the time, so it was a bit of a roller coaster trip, but I got to tell you, I saw my in-laws, I saw my dad, my mom. My mom is home now and we figured out the problem.
That's great.
Yeah, so it was a roller coaster of emotional events, but all in all, it was really great. And my son was just a doll the whole time.
That's so good.
Yeah, you never know how a kid's going to be when you travel.
No.
It's a hit or miss.
Totally. And a lot of the times it's not their fault if they're going to have to be around a lot of adults or be bored or be somewhere like a hospital.
Kid, he had to sit up at the hospital for 2-3 hours sometimes, and he just was delightful. He was so good. So
that's so sweet.
I'm really proud of him.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I love that you pulled off the surprise for your dad.
I can't believe we did it.
Because there was a few glitches, but you got through it.
We did, yeah.
I threw a surprise party once, and of course
it got ruined.
No, but the friend that pulled up with the person that was supposed to be surprised drove
Maybe
up.
Maybe that should have been one of our rants today. It is not. But if you are going to a surprise party and you are going to be later than what they told you to show up, then you wait an hour. And you come after the surprise.
Have to wait.
You have to. We pulled up to, so the surprise was at my sister's house. And we pull up and my dad, my aunt and uncle and cousin and her baby are getting out of their car. And my heart just started beating like crazy. I was like, oh God, oh God, oh God. Because we had went to all this trouble for a surprise. And my sister even said, be here at this time. He's coming at that, you know. I realize things happen, but don't unload your whole family.
No.
Right when he's supposed to show up. So he goes, well, what's Donna and Terry doing here? And I go, I don't know. He goes, I didn't know they was coming, because he thinks we're going out to dinner, right? Yep. And we're just picking up my son and my sisters. And I go, well, you know, I'm in town. They probably wanted to see me. It makes sense. I just told him it makes sense. He goes, oh, okay, I guess. We
haven't seen him in nearly 20 years.
And then he goes, well, what are all these cars around here for? Because my sister lives in a cul-de-sac, so it's not usually that busy. And I was like, well, Tiffy said her roommate's having people over. That's why we're going out to dinner. And he goes, well, just pull in behind this car. And I said, Dad, I'm hanging half out the driveway. He goes, we're only going to be in there a minute. If I need to tell somebody to move, I will. And I said, Dad, these are not Tiffy's friends. They're her roommate's friends. Well, I'll say something if I need to. Not knowing he's walking into a huge party for himself. It was very funny.
I love it.
And then we got him, all of us pooled together and got him a windsock for his yard.
Amazing.
Because he's taking flight lessons. He wants to buy a gyrocopter. So when I was a kid, he had an ultralight. And
I don't even know what that is.
So it's like a little seat you sit in with a go-kart motor on it and a propeller in the back and you fly.
Oh, yeah.
So my dad's obsessed with flying. So he had that. I could never go up in it because I was too big.
Stop it.
And I couldn't do it by myself. I was a kid. But he ran that thing. It got windy one day and he ran through a barbed wire fence.
What?
He had holes in his tummy from a barbed wire fence.
Oh, no.
And he also chopped the tip of his finger off with the propeller once. So my mom was like, no. Well, now he's, retired and he's like, I'm going to get me a gyrocopter. So he wants a windsock for his yard.
Unbelievable.
So we got him one. I ordered it for him. And my sister said he doesn't want one of those small little things like a toy. So I was like, all right, this thing is 8 feet long.
I didn't know there was novelty windsocks.
I didn't either. But I bought this from like a place that is legit sells windsocks. And everyone, when he opened it, my family was like, well, good Lord, Gary, airport's going to be sending planes over to you. You can see that thing from 10 miles away.
Okay, I think I know what it is, and I think I know what it looks like, but...
It's that orange tube.
So, but like, what is the purpose of it? It's like...
To show you which direction the wind is. And how fast.
So he could go outside and be like, the wind's blowing west at 40 miles an hour. I'm going up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because when he gets his gyrocopter, he's going to land and take off in his front yard.
Oh.
Because, they live out in the country.
Okay, well, that makes a lot more sense because I'm like, that's great and all, but by the time you get to the airport, maybe the direction has changed.
He is his airport now. Okay. He doesn't even have the copter yet. He's like, I'm ready.
That's so cute.
It's so funny. We were laughing so hard. I said to everybody, I was like, you guys, my dad doesn't do anything small. My sister was like, when Dad leaves for the hospital, you've got to get the chairs out of their house and stack them in the car and take them because I don't have enough chairs for the party.
My God.
I was like, no problem. Of course, he's like kind of waiting around for us to go at the same time. And I was like, Dad, I probably need to curl my hair. Why would I put that in front of going to see my mom? But anyway, he's finally like, okay. So he gets out and I go to gather the chairs. And the first ones I grabbed, they're little folding chairs. So I grabbed 3 of them. In one hand, I was going to carry 6 at a time. Mm-hmm. Jessica, I felt like a crazy person. I went to lift them. First of all, I smashed my fingers and I went, Mother! Because my son was right there. And each of them, they looked like flimsy little folding chairs. Each of them must have weighed 75 pounds. Everything my dad does it's sturdy. It's sturdy. Mm-hmm. He built his house where all the doorways are wider and all the steps are wider and longer.
For furniture?
He builds things bigger and he buys things harder.
Okay, I'm not going to let this slip by. That is very smart of Gary, because I wonder seriously if part of him doing the larger door openings is so that furniture can get through.
It is. Brilliant. And also he was like, this is where we want to retire. Like if one of us ended up in a wheelchair, I want to get in and out easy.
That's really smart thinking.
Yeah, it is. But it caused issues with the inspector.
Oh.
I was like, why didn't you just bribe him? He goes, Dana, what am I going to bribe him with? He don't care. I was like, well, how'd you do it? He goes, well, I just talked him into it. Oh, okay. All right. My dad just does things. He just does things. I don't know.
I have a feeling he's very charming.
He's so funny.
I love it.
He is very charming.
Just by naturally being a nice man. By the way, I don't mean charming like smarmy.
No, not at all. He's just friendly.
Like yeah.
And what's so funny is he was deathly shy when I was young. We didn't even go out to eat until I was like 11. And now he's just like a social butterfly. Isn't that funny?
Is that? Yeah.
He has, so a few days before his actual party, his workout group of women took him out for dinner and bought him presents.
This is Mr. Mom, and I love every minute of it. Please do tell.
He goes to the heart institution because he had open heart surgery 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. So he goes 3 times a week to work out up there. That's one of the benefits.
My dad does that at the hospital where he had his heart surgery. It's lovely. I love it.
And they have a group of them that have become friends because they all went through it at the same time.
Great.
It's almost all women. My dad and one other dude are the only guys. But they go out to eat together sometimes and they work out together, and it's really cute.
That's such a nice
and
camaraderie.
they're all so sweet, and they got him presents and they got him gift cards to his favorite restaurants. He went up to the hospital afterwards to tell my mom all about it. He was so excited. And he said, Diana, we ain't gonna have to cook food forever. I got so many gift cards, I'll go get his food and we're set.
That's awesome.
It was cute.
You know what that is? I'll tell you, this is perfect timing. A great gift for parents. I mean, for anyone, but I find that when people get older, they don't want to cook so much anymore. And especially if there isn't kids and or grandkids or other friends or family that are around regularly, they just don't want to. My parents used to cook all the time and they don't want to anymore. And I get it.
It's just my mom and dad. They don't have a family to cook for anymore.
No, exactly. Yeah. So it was my dad's birthday yesterday and he told me they were going to go to Vita's. That's this Italian restaurant that I grew up going to when I'd be visiting them in Florida. And they went last night for dinner, and Alan and I were both like, what can we send my dad for his birthday? I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to call Vita's.
Oh, yes.
Pay for a gift card and tell them I'm going to tell my stepmom to come up and speak to the hostess and whatever. Yeah. You would have thought that I sent my dad a trip on a cruise or something. Oh. He was ecstatic.
I love it.
It was ecstatic, but like it's such a smart gift because it's usable, right?
It's so fun too. You know Kristen Hensley Sweeney. She's one of the I Mom So Hard girls. If you guys don't know who I Mom So Hard is, look them up. They're hilarious.
Absolutely.
They're very good friends of ours, and they just kill me. I mean, they slay me. But anyway, it was her birthday last year. Her husband Colin, who's a doll, he decided that we were all going to go to what's that meat place on Ventura, Bone Grill or something like that?
The Boneyard.
The Boneyard, yes. So we all met up there for her birthday, and it was a surprise. She didn't know. She thought Jen was taking her out for dinner. But he had called ahead and planned a menu. There were like 15 of us. Planned a menu and sides and paid for it all. We did nothing. We just sat down and food came to our faces. And it was so fun.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't have to make a decision and this delicious food comes to my face. Yep. Amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah. That is a good gift idea.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we get into our rants?
Let's do it.
I'm excited about this week. We actually, I think this is the first time we have like a collective rant where I'm going to call it, it's about communications.
Yes.
So we each have a separate rant, but it's communication based. I think I'm going to start if that's okay.
Do it.
So this is from a listener. We're not going to out this listener, but I'll tell you what, her rant, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. Here we go. So I know I should probably send this via email, but I'm out for a walk and was getting irritated just thinking about it because my phone is blowing up. Please tell me, why on God's green earth do people feel the need to reply all on an email that was sent to over 50 people? I feel as if it's just a way for the reply allers to get attention. Like, quote, look at me. I'm going to say congrats on the birth of your child, not for you, but so everyone else can see that I care, end quote.
Oh, yeah.
Or how about the jerk who replies to all with a simple thanks with an X? Then she wrote, no, and lots of exclamation points. And because it's on a work email, I can't just not look.
Right.
That's true too. Yeah. I literally scream, are you fucking kidding me? Every time my phone beeps. Please don't ever reply all to something when it's not necessary, she put in all caps. Then she said, okay, rant over, or at least until my phone beeps again, and then curse word emojis. We got to talk about this, people. And it's not just email, it's text.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when I understand there's a need to send out group emails and group texts, for sure. I get it. That's no problem. But respond to that person alone. Don't reply all.
Correct.
And I think in our world, it's even worse because we're comedians. Have you ever gotten on a reply all thread?
And it's, hey,
bits?
Who's funnier than the next one?
It's just bits. Like somebody's like, hey, I'm having people over at 4:00 on Sunday for a barbecue. You know, let me know if you can come, whatever. Okay, we'll respond to that. But nope, not where we come from. It's like, what are you going to barbecue? Is it meat? Okay, well, that's not even a joke. Like, and then somebody's like, great joke. Of course, what else is she going to barbecue? Just corn? And then it just keeps going. I'm making this up clearly.
And no one's answered the question, though.
No. And it just keeps going on. And then it's like, oh, a real good one, Darla, or whoever they're
Darla.
I don't know. But it just keeps going. And literally your phone is blowing up.
I hate it so much. There's so much to say about this. First of all, you BCC when it's a huge group.
Absolutely.
Again.
Now I do have a question. If you BCC and then reply, it just goes to the sender, right?
Yeah, like if I sent an email to 30 people right now, BCC, and you replied,
it would
just come to me.
So that's where we got, it's the chicken and the egg here. So that's where we got to start. Don't send a group email that's not BCC'd.
Correct. Also, sometimes I have been on group emails, and when I tell you a group email, I mean there's 100 or several hundred people on the email.
Oh, wow, you're popular.
So, no, this is like somebody clearly pulling their life's worth of contacts.
Right.
So not only are you getting multiple reply alls every time, just the email amount alone is a good full page. So you know how it all keeps continuing.
Yes.
So when you keep trying to go down and scroll down to the 40th response, we're talking about pages.
You're scrolling for a day, full day.
It's crazy. But I have been on emails like that where it's like you didn't have the right to use some of these emails, or it has somebody who may be a big dog at a work.
Famous or...
And they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
And I am so appalled. And I'm like, oh my God. And I have told people before, I'm like, by the way, next time you need to BCC the list or use like a mail server, especially when, again, it's something like an invitation and stuff like that.
Right.
There's so many ways to do that now.
Yeah.
Stop it. And with the reply all texts, how annoying is it when you're getting replies and you don't know 75% of the numbers on that text?
Right. And if you're an Apple user, you're also getting beeped every time somebody likes a comment.
Thank you. But that will drive me nuts. If it was a text with you and me and several other people, then I'm like, who just said blah, blah, blah? And it makes me insane, but I'm like, I can't even ask who is this because I don't know from the other 8 numbers.
Yeah, exactly. And also, when it's a big reply all email, if it's somebody using all their then when you get that response from somebody who is like, please take me off this list.
Yes.
Then I've been reading this book. I'm going to mention several books today because I've been into it. But so a girlfriend of mine posted she was reading an empath's survival guide by this doctor. I can't remember. But so I was like, I don't know if I'm really considering myself an empath. And then I went through the 17 checklist thing and I hit like 15 of them. I was like, oh, good. And this is a perfect example of it. When you get that message back, please take me off this list, and you can tell they're aggravated, then I carry that anxiety with me for it's not even to do with me. And I'm like, oh God, that was uncomfortable. Oh God, I hate that. Oh, I feel bad. Should I write back to them? They don't know me. I don't know what to do.
I was actually put on a group message on Facebook this week, and it was from someone that I used to know through work many, many years ago. Great person, but I don't need to be on your group email it was something political. It was random. It's somebody I haven't spoken with. And immediately when I got the message, I was really angry because I just saw the image and read like the first line. And I'm like, I'm not even opening this to see the article. And immediately as I was looking at it, it said, Susie Q left the group.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, F this, I'm leaving the group now too. Mm-hmm.
Because I will leave a group if I can figure it out. Sometimes on my phone on Facebook, I can't figure out how to leave it. And I see all these people leaving and I'm like,
make it easy.
I want to follow you out and I don't know how.
I can't find the door.
And then I'm like, do I post? How do I get out of here?
I know.
Don't do that.
Mm-hmm. I also have been the police a few times on a group where I'm like, actually,
of course you have.
Can we not discuss this on this thread? This is a separate issue. Or if you don't mind.
Good for you.
I'm at work and my phone is now literally beeped almost 50 times.
Yeah.
Please stop.
And they're going, we'll turn off your ringer, Jessica. But it's not. It's invasive.
Also, do you want to look down at your phone? Sometimes it could have been all of 5 minutes. But sometimes you don't look at your phone for an hour or more.
And then you have 50 messages.
And I freak out and I'm like, somebody died.
Yep.
And it's like, nope. Bits.
And then I'm like, because I'm a bit of a train wreck, I'm like, I do have to look at all of this because if I skim through it, I'm going to actually miss something somewhere else that I did need to see.
I know. And I can't stop looking at the train wreck. So even when I'm livid, I read
You're still reading it. I know.
I read every response.
I know.
If I'm on it, you best believe I'm going to read it.
Yeah. And then another beep comes and it's like, Dana hearted this message.
Oh, and I do love this. I have to point out too, I love that the listener said, just like somebody congratulating someone on their baby to let everyone know that I absolutely get it. And I know exactly what you mean. It's those little things too, where it's like, no,
that wasn't for this person. It was for you. Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed the diaper cake I sent you.
I didn't need to know you sent a diaper cake. And you know what? They'll send you a thank you card if they did. Shut the fuck up.
Addressed to you, not a group of 100.
Yes.
You.
To you. I mean, what are you supposed to do with that? Maybe we should start responding to those things and be like, boy, I sure wish I had a diaper cake.
Oh my God. I am sad though, because I did not on the group text once reply to someone say, I'm so sorry. I keep getting all these text with a bunch of people on it that I don't know. I love everything that you're sending, because I did. And they were pictures. I'm like, if it's not too much of a pain, could you just send them to me? They never replied. I stopped getting the pictures.
Oh no, are you serious?
Yeah. But you know what? I was like,
that's their baggage, not yours.
Yeah, I was like, I can't be, again, getting 10 reply alls every time.
No, and that's good for you. And you may not need to read the Empath's Guide to Survival.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay, what's your rant? Because it's along the same lines.
Yes. So this is another rant that came from a listener, and it is also regarding
communication.
Communicable
diseases.
Sounds like a spread of disease. Communication issues. Hello again, ladies. I have a rant that I have to get out. This is one that drives me completely and utterly crazy. I can feel my blood pressure rising just thinking about it. I cannot stand it when someone tries to call you, and if you don't answer, they keep calling you back to back until you answer. I work in a doctor's office, and this happens at least 4 to 5 times a week minimum. I cannot put into words how much this makes me want to throat punch someone. The worst part is when you finally answer, obviously sounding irritated, they have a chipper voice and say, oh, hi, I just have a quick question. And it is something that is obviously not an emergency. I cannot be the only one that thinks this is one of the worst qualities in humanity. Thank you, ladies, for all the good you are doing and the joy you are bringing to people's lives every week.
Oh, thanks.
Jessica, I'm still waiting for you to do books on tape.
Of course, you have to.
I wish.
Yeah. I mean, this listener is so right. I have a friend, and I will keep the name and gender of this person out of my mouth for purposes of airing. It's someone that I work with a lot and is a good friend. But if I don't answer when this person calls immediately, they immediately call back, and it'll be like 3 times. And when I finally answer or call them back, they're like, what were you doing? I just called like 3 times. I'm like, oh, you're aware that you did that? Well, there was a reason I wasn't answering. I was on the other line, or I don't know, maybe I was going potty. You don't know.
At work, filming something, watching a play. I mean, there's a million reasons why people can answer.
I'm not just ignoring you to be a dick and go, let's see if they call back. Let me see if they call back.
I have a few people in my life that do it.
Yeah.
And
here's the thing. This would fit into Oh My Bad corner. Because I'll be honest, Jessica, I do it to Dan Tipton.
I do it to my husband. He does it to me. I think that's pretty standard.
There should be a caveat for that, right? Like if it's your spouse,
and your spouse is like in the kitchen making a dry rub for ribs and playing his mouth harp, and that's why he couldn't hear the phone. Stop. Yep, I can relate. Because for real, it's not because he's doing something. He's usually home when I'm trying, and that's why I'll get annoyed. I'm like, yeah, he's not asleep yet. No. What is he doing?
Yeah,
and I'll keep calling. Oh, I didn't hear it.
Yeah, that's what Dan will say. Oh, I didn't hear or whatever, and I'll go, you know what? I'm out in my car without you. I could have been in a wreck. This could have been an ambulance driver calling you. This could have been the hospital. You don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love how we are absolutely okay with it, and I'm not backing down. I am okay with it that we can do it to our husbands,
but nobody else.
Nobody better. Is that
be a double
standard? Including our husbands. No, but it's funny because the few people I know that do it, now it's just their MO, and it's not even like it's a joke. I just know it's them, so I'm like, all right, already.
Yeah.
And sometimes even when I can't, I'll like go outside and be like, what? And they'll be like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm at work, you asshole. Yeah, goodbye. Exactly, I'll call you later.
Exactly.
But part of why it's like he said about an emergency, I always freak out because if someone does call me a few times, I'm like, oh
something's
God,
wrong.
They're trying to reach me.
Yes, they need me to know it's an emergency.
Because I did do that once when I was like a maniac and I was calling people until they answered.
Yeah.
For that reason.
I feel like people get aggravated because they're like, oh, they're not answering on purpose. Now, if we can tell in ringers now when you're calling somebody if they decline you.
Yes.
There's a certain ring number. And then it goes to voicemail and you're like, okay, you saw my name and you hit do not answer right now. You hit ignore, do not accept, whatever. I get it. But if I do that to you and you're just aggravated and calling back, okay, well, it's rude, but I get it. You're like, I know you ignored me and I'm going to let you know. But if it's not going to voicemail until it's supposed to and I'm not declining you, clearly I'm busy.
Yes. Exactly. And what if you weren't? What if you just didn't feel
What if I just didn't feel like talking? What if I had a sore throat? What if I was sneak eating a sandwich in my car? You don't know.
Oh my God.
I used to do that a lot.
Everyone.
When I first moved here, I had this job that was just horrible. And there was, what's that chili, Tommy's, the chili burgers?
Oh God.
It was right down the hill from where I worked.
You'll regret it the next morning, I'll tell you that much.
But I would go down there and get it and then hide up in Griffith Park and eat that in a big giant Fanta.
Ooh,
it was
orange.
Good. It was so good. But I was hiding definitely in my car to eat it.
Oh
okay, are we done with that rant? I think we shamed people enough. And then also said we have double standards. Before we move on to corners, though, I have a very special shout out to a little friend of mine. So a girlfriend of mine that I actually met when I was very young. She has a little boy. And I told him I would shout him out on our podcast. He has a YouTube channel called Reptile Admirer. And he does YouTube videos. He makes videos about his cute little fat tail gecko named Ezrin. And he recently started making videos about his cat, Tough. And said, if you guys want to see more Tough videos, let me. And I was like, more cat videos, more. He's just a doll. He takes great care of his gecko. If you need to learn anything about gecko care, he's your guy.
I love it.
He's just such a doll. He's very funny. So if you're ever just, late at night, sometimes I'm just like, what can I watch that's fun and silly? So if you're ever in one of those moods, look up Reptile Admirer. I love you. I think you make great videos. Keep on doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you can send him a little video of your gecko.
I know I should too, right?
Yeah.
She's doing a little better, by the way. I've had several people ask me about her.
That's awesome.
She's gaining weight. She's getting very nasty feisty with me, which I think is a good sign.
Yeah.
She's like, please don't weigh me. Please don't. The other night, I have to give her a certain amount of medicine, and she's refusing to open her mouth now. And you can push behind their little ear holes and make them, but I don't have enough fingers, and I'm just not qualified to do that. And so I was trying to get her to open her mouth, and she wouldn't. at all. She kept turning her head. So I was dripping it on her nose, drop by drop, till she would lick it off because it annoyed her. And that's the only way I could get her medicine in.
So cute.
But she's been out and about. In fact, right before you came over, she was out running around. Aww. So I'm going to take her back next week and get her some vitamins and see if we can get her back on track. But she's smiling a little bit more now. She's peeking out at you. Look. Yes. Do you see her? Oh. She's like, what are you doing at midnight? This is my playtime.
It's so cute. It's like a little kid, like peeking
She rests her little head out of her little cold hide and just stares at me.
Oh, I love it.
I love her. She's cute.
She is cute.
So thanks to those of you who reached out. It's really sweet. Yeah. It's interesting how we become attached to other people's pets.
Yes.
Because I told you I follow more pets on Instagram than I do people. And this week, I don't know if any of you follow I Am Mosho, the cat rapper. I love him so much.
You introduced me to it. Hilarious.
But he lost one of his babies this week. Rest in peace, Tally, the lover. She was a little hairless sphinx.
I know.
Very cute. Okay. I think we need a cleansing breath after I just talked about a poor kitty cat that died.
I think we do.
Okay. So if you're by yourself, feel free to exhale loudly. And if you're not by yourself and you're comfortable being weird, like I am, then do it anyway. But we're going to do it. Okay, ready? In. And out. Yeah, communication rants need cleansing breath.
Oh, yeah.
They get us worked up, don't they?
I wish people would take a breath before they said or did most things.
I should take a breath.
Because sometimes it does change my mind. Like, I'm like, and then instead of letting the words come out, I continue the breath and go, don't say it.
Don't say that. That's good. I should start doing that. But I'm actually going to say, don't say that out loud. Just so they get the idea that, like, she was ready to go off, but she chose not to.
Please do it. I love it.
She really has a lot of self-control.
Hell yes.
So the corner that I brought today for first is an oh wow corner. And I think that's all I don't think that you had a song for that, do you?
No.
Yeah, let's keep it that way. I'm just kidding. I love your song.
That means there's not a song that my husband can try to imitate randomly when he feels like it. And it makes me laugh so hard.
That would kill me.
Because he's like my dad and he never gets anything right. And I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, that song, that weird song that you do. I'm like, none of that is correct.
That's amazing. Okay, so this is written by Corinne Sanders, and the title of the article is Mystery Illness Left Man Weak and Bedridden for 11 Years.
Jeez.
So he invents his own cure. This is such an uplifting, amazing story. At 21, Doug Lindsay thought his life was over. All his career aspirations and plans to graduate from Rockhurst University with a biology degree vanished in the moment he first collapsed in 1999. The Missouri senior grew so weak he could barely stand, let alone walk more than 50 feet. His heart raced and he was constantly dizzy. The symptoms were debilitating, but familiar. They were signs of the same mysterious ailment that left his mother and aunt bedbound for decades. Doug had always wondered if the same would happen to him. When I called my mom that night to tell her I needed to drop out of college, we both knew, he said. The young man spent the next 11 years at home bedridden. 11 years, Jessica.
Unbelievable.
At 21? Bedridden for about 22 hours a day. No matter how many doctors and specialists saw him, he got the same answer. Nobody could figure out what was wrong with him, just like they couldn't with his mom and aunt. That's when he realized he'd have to take his health into his own hands. Doug kept himself occupied with medical research, poring over endocrinology textbook he had first obtained in the hopes of helping his mother. There, between the pages, he found a section discussing how some adrenal disorders could be mistaken as thyroid disorders. His mother always believed her illness had something to do with her thyroid. Whatever his condition was, Doug knew it had to be rare. So, after poring through research on adrenal glands, he hypothesized there was an entire class of autonomic nervous system disorders. He also believed his adrenal glands were producing too much adrenaline for his body, which was making him sick. The hard part would be convincing doctors and scientists to take him seriously. But Doug was determined. With the help of friends, he traveled to the American Autonomic Society's annual conference in 2002. He gave a presentation from his wheelchair to scientists from around the world who specialize in nervous system disorders. Naturally, they were skeptical about the young man's research. But there he met Dr. H. Cecil Coughlin, a medical professor at the University of Alabama, Birmingham, who did take him seriously. Through trial and error, the pair learned that Doug was onto something. Coughlin began administering the drug Levofed. I'm not medical, sorry about that. An injection of, noradrenaline, which counteracts the effects of excess adrenaline. And Doug felt better. He could walk for short periods, but it wasn't enough. Then they had an amazing breakthrough in 2006 after so many years. Coughlin finally diagnosed Doug. He had bilateral adrenal medullary hyperplasia, which enlarges the medullas or inner regions of the adrenal glands, causing them to produce too much adrenaline. They found only 32 recorded cases. Wow. The solution seemed simple to Doug. Cut out the medullas. The only problem, no surgery existed for humans. So Doug said, I'm going to make one. He proposed a first ever human adrenal medullectomy and pioneered it himself as a patient. Eventually, he found a willing surgeon from the University of Alabama, Birmingham. He underwent surgery for one medulla in September of 2010 and again in 2012 to remove the remaining one. And it was a success. Looking at Doug now, you would have no idea he was bedbound for more than a decade. He is walking, traveling, and has since received his bachelor's degree in biology. He's dedicated his life to help. I'm getting chills. He's dedicated his life to helping other people, working as a medical consultant to help doctors identify and treat rare diseases. He also speaks at medical schools and conferences, sharing the story of how innovation and perseverance saved his life. I got help from people, he said, and now I have to help people. Listen to Doug's incredible story on the TED Talk below, so we'll share that. Share to inspire others. I just think this is incredible. This guy, look at him. Okay, so let me show you the first picture of him. He's in his bed. He's sickly. Look at him. You just feel so bad for him. And then you scroll down and he's giving TED Talks. Here's the one where he was in his wheelchair. And so young.
Wow. Yep.
He's a baby, 21. And then this is him now.
Unbelievable.
You would never know he was ill. There's him giving his TED Talk. How cute. Look at his jacket.
So amazing.
Isn't that an incredible story?
Yes.
It's really interesting because I'm going through family stuff right now with medical. And it is so easy when you're ill to just be like, can you just help me and give up? This kid was like, no, I saw this happen to my mom. I saw this happen to my aunt, and I will not sit around and let it happen to me.
No, it's unreal.
It's
He's going to dedicate his life to helping people
with
find
rare diseases.
The unknown.
How brilliant are you, guy, that you figured this out and you convinced doctors. Listen, I'm telling you, I know this is what's going on with me. That's something I want to say too while we're in this corner.
Right.
If your body is telling you something is wrong, you guys, it's right.
You have to be
your own advocate. You tell those doctors when they say we can't find anything, you either say something's wrong, keep looking, or you find another doctor who will. I always think
and that sometimes means 10 doctors or more.
That I always think of Fran Drescher, and she knew something was wrong with her body, and she went to, I want to say, 6 different doctors told her nothing was wrong, and the 7th told her she had breast cancer. She knew it.
That's the same with Gilda Radner, and unfortunately, by the time they did find ovarian cancer, it was way
too late,
advanced. And for a very long time, if you have not read it, I recommend this to everyone. Her book is called It's Always Something. That was like one of her famous taglines from SNL back in the day. For a very, very long time, also because of the way she was feeling and symptoms that it wasn't outward. It's not like, oh, you do have a massive growth that's a tumor. It's protruding from your head. They were just like, there's nothing wrong with you. Some people told her she was a hypochondriac or we can't find anything. And she just kept pursuing it. And unfortunately, by the time somebody did see it, it was too late. But
we have to listen to our bodies.
You have to.
If you're in pain or something doesn't feel right, it's because your body is sending you a message. Something is wrong. Help me fix it.
Correct.
You always have to listen to your body. Don't just take Tylenol and when the headache goes away, think you're fine. You didn't solve the problem. You put a Band-Aid on it.
Exactly.
And that's obviously much, a headache, whatever. But you never know what it could lead to.
No, of course.
So I'm saying if there's something that repeatedly is giving you problems and your body is telling you something is wrong, don't give up, no matter what the doctors say. What's that saying they always say? There's always going to be a doctor that made a C. There's always going to be that doctor that wasn't a straight A student. You might have a C or D doctor.
But there's also the doctors that do have straight A's and they're not looking, or they're going textbook.
Well, something we just experienced with my mother was we're realizing she had a bunch of different things going wrong that was stemming from one problem, but each doctor has a very specific field of what they do. And so they weren't seeing it because they weren't connecting it to other things. They only stay in your lane.
Right.
So if you follow me personally, I sent some cookies to an eye doctor that really helped us get to the bottom of this. And I said, thank you to all the doctors who go the extra mile. He didn't have to do that. Most doctors don't. But he helped us get to the bottom of this situation that was extremely serious.
Yeah.
So again, thank you to that doctor. But if you don't find that doctor that goes the extra mile, keep walking till you do.
Or see a specialist, or see another specialist.
And ask your doctors to talk to your other doctors because they don't frequently. Right. So you've got this specialist, they're not talking. They don't know what's going on.
Exactly.
Anyway, I thought that was an amazingly inspiring story because it is so hard to have perseverance and the fight when you are ill.
Especially
it's so hard.
When you were walking and then lose the ability for that and for that long of a period. Like most people would be really angry or tired or depressed or resentful.
11 years this guy pushed.
Yeah.
And it paid off.
And it's propelled him to help other people.
To help others.
Absolutely unbelievable.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my corner.
I want to watch the TED Talk.
I know, I'm going to. I started watching it, but then you were coming over and I was like, well, I guess I better be ready for Jessica. So I put my hair in a ponytail and put on a sweater.
That's all she's wearing.
That's it. It's really sexy.
Oh my God.
I do have on flip-flops, which I never wear. But here's what I did do for you, and this is for real. I cleaned my carpets before you came.
That is lovely.
Because I'm like, you know how Jessica always looks at your carpets.
My carpet looks like they filmed CSI in there, so
I have one strip of carpet in my hallway, and I was like, oh, Jessica's coming. I better clean it.
Oh my God, you're hilarious. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, we didn't plan a corner for you.
We didn't.
Oh.
But that's okay.
Do you want to not do one?
I mean, that's fine.
Okay. So since it is now 10 till 1 in the morning,
we're going to speed it up.
We just realized in the middle of our recording, oh, we didn't plan a corner for Jessica. Sorry, Jessica.
It's okay.
Don't worry. Dana never shuts up. I've got something else to say.
What kind of corner is it?
Oh, God. Look at you. You're shimmied your shoulders. It's a celebrity corner.
Hollywood. Hollywood.
I can't believe you're pre-shimmy. You were so ready.
I really did get excited.
Well, the reason this is Celebrity Corner is I was very, very lucky, and I'm super grateful that I did work last week, the day after I came home from Missouri.
Unbelievable. But perfect timing.
Yeah, it was nice. It was kind of good to just like jump into something. And it was very fun. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because, and you haven't seen this movie yet, and my sisters haven't seen it, so I feel like it's my duty to tell people, you've got to see Booksmart.
I know.
So it's this movie about these two young girls getting ready to graduate, and they've been good girls and made good grades, and they decide to kind of go off the rails.
Graduate high school, by the way? Okay.
And it's so funny. It's kind of like people are calling it the Super Bad for girls, you know? And then Good Boys is coming out, I think, this month. So
I saw the trailer for that.
So it's in that vein. I laughed so hard. And the two lead girls in it are amazing. Well, one of them, her name is Caitlin Deaver. I worked with her. It was a BJ Novak show, and that's going to be coming out. And it was his 40th birthday, so it was a really fun day. It's the first time I've had a job where I was like, I am so stinking old. Because I was playing a high school teacher. So all the leads were high school kids. And I was like, Dana, you're so old right now. You're so crazy old. But anyway, we sat down in hair and makeup, and everybody came up. They had been working the day before me. So everybody came up and said, hello, I'm so-and-so. I play whatever. We were introducing, and she came and sat by me. And she was like, Dana, I know I've seen you in something recently. What was it? And I was like, well, I don't know, but I've seen you in something. Aww. And she kind of smiled, and I was like, dude, that movie made me laugh so hard. I really do think it's going to be kind of iconic. Yeah. It's going to be one of those like The Big Lebowski where people years from now are like, I got to revisit that. It makes me laugh so hard, you know. And so I said, I just love that movie. And she put her hands together and she goes, I did too.
Oh,
she's
nice.
She's so talented. She's on all the like up and coming lists. And I was just watching her on set acting, and she had these huge paragraphs of very verbose and also like really impactful monologues. And she just did them so gracefully and so easy. And I kept flip-flopping one word. I was supposed to say encourage, and I kept saying explore. And I was like, oh, you're crazy and not talented. This young woman is so good. Anyway, that was very exciting. And it was BJ's birthday, and his goddaughter was there. It was just such a fun day. So that was my celebrity corner. So I could say, if you haven't seen Booksmart, guys, it will just give you the giggles. It really will.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I have good news, I guess. I have a very quick add-on to Celebrity Corner.
Really?
All from my celebrity tourist day around LA today.
Yes.
I saw 2 celebrities.
Oh.
We saw Kendall Jenner, and she is absolutely gorgeous in person.
Wow. Okay.
Gorgeous. Eating lunch when we were having lunch. Then at dinner, we saw Sugar Ray Leonard.
Oh my God.
One of the greatest boxers of all time. That was amazing. But the real celebrity today was the Peach Pit pop-up that I saw on Melrose Avenue.
Oh yeah, that's been here for a few months now, right?
Well, I don't know, but if it's
you
open,
didn't know about
I'm
it?
going it. No.
Oh my God, Jessica,
I literally almost wrecked my car.
I've seen a ton of our friends have gone. They just haven't invited you.
What? Is it open?
Yes, it's been open for 2 or 3 months.
Like as a diner?
Yeah, you go in and there's like selfie opportunities. Am I not thinking the right thing?
I don't know. It's near the Groundlings on Melrose.
I don't know where it's located, but I've seen tons of people taking pictures.
I mean, it's like clearly an abandoned restaurant or storefront.
No, this is me showing my age again. You know what I was...
And trying to make me feel like I wasn't invited to something.
Yeah, trying to give you FOMO.
More of a complex.
I'm so wrong. I was thinking of the Saved by the Bell pop-up.
No, I'm not interested in Mr. Belding and the gang.
Oh my.
I'm interested in Jason Priestley and the crew.
No, I guess I didn't know about that.
How dare you, Dana?
I'm sorry.
Well,
I really sent you on a roller coaster.
Your head's about to spin. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is I've already mentioned it a few weeks ago, I think. I'm ecstatic about the 90210
reunion. Yes, I remember.
I can't wait. It starts this Wednesday. I can't wait. Like, I will be watching it. I just realized I have a show. I'll be watching it, I guess, the next day.
Oh my God. Are we just going through your schedule now?
No. Here's the Peach Pit.
Oh my God.
And
are you going to post these pictures?
Yeah, they're not the greatest pictures. They took over, clearly, like...
Is that a pizza van in front of it?
I don't know, but I'm like, what is it? And it didn't look like it was open, and there was a bunch of tables set up and umbrellas.
For the premiere.
Yeah, and I was telling, because my sister-in-law was like, oh my God, can we go in there? I'm like, doesn't look like it's open, but I said, I bet they're doing like a pop-up, and it could just be for the premiere.
For the premiere,
or maybe be open for a day or a week or something, but... Why don't they just keep the Peach Pit? Why don't they just keep the Peach Pit and bring Nat back?
Yeah, well, you better get on Eventbrite or something, because if it's going to happen, it'll sell out.
I should just Google Peach Pit party.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid what that's going to bring up for you. I don't know. I wouldn't do that. I would just maybe Google Peach Pit pop-up. I think that's less porny.
Oh my God. Not really.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Listen, I'm not an expert on how to Google porn or not. Yeah, but God. You better get on it.
I'm going to get on it.
Don't get mad at me.
And then I'm going to jump in Steve's convertible and take a zip up to Mulholland.
Yes, ma'am. You know what you should also do, because I deserve it. Don't invite me and take pictures.
I won't. I can assure you of that.
I just made you feel so bad. All of our friends have gone. They just didn't invite you.
I hate to tell you this, but I really don't.
Honestly, they didn't invite me either, so I want both of us to hurt. It's just rolling you into my sad tortilla life. Neither one of us were included, so sorry about that, Jessica. Oh my God, I'm a terrible monster.
This is very sad. I'll be watching 90210 by myself, clearly.
I just was never that into it. I loved to look into Jason Priestley's eyes.
Oh, he's so handsome. I think I told you that I literally lost my mind when my mom grounded me and she knew the most powerful thing she could do, because there was no DVR, TiVo, Hulu,
you just
nothing.
Missed it.
If you didn't see the show, too bad.
Oh, that's harsh.
Maybe when it's in syndication in 8 years, you might catch that prom episode.
But I bet you didn't get in trouble for the same thing again.
I didn't. I was so angry. I swear, I think I said, I hate you.
I'm sure.
Like one of those dramatic teenage screams, because my mom literally, that's what she decided my punishment was.
I mean, as a parent, if you can find that thing that is that devastating, you know you've won.
Yep.
My mom?
Marianne, I know you're pissing your pants right now hearing this, because I'll throw this in there. She knows who she is. She's like my sister. I have 3 friends that I grew up with all on the same street, Dewey, Leah, and Marianne.
Oh, what a great cartoon.
It's amazing. Marianne used to come over to watch that show. Dewey and Leah didn't watch it, but she used to come over on whatever night it was on to watch it. And she came over that night knowing I was grounded and couldn't, and watched it at my house.
No.
While I couldn't. Yep.
No.
# never forget, because I won't.
I would never forget that either. That is borderline evil. She's like, I got to get mine.
Isn't it nuts? But our house was like not a revolving door, but like we all seriously lived in like this triangle of a few blocks. So
that's how important it was to her.
Yes. And she just came over.
My mom one time grounded my sister from her curling iron because she had those big stacked bangs.
Oh, I bet that she cried her eyes
cried
out.
like crazy. She said, I can't go to school
without my air bangs.
Yes. And my mom was like, you are going to school. It was devastating.
That's amazing.
She did not want to go out in public without her giant bangs.
Oh, that's so good. And her giant bottle of Aquanet. Did you ever do air bangs? I didn't.
I did a little bit, but I wasn't as masterful at it as my little sister.
I didn't, because I had an avant-garde haircut when those bangs were in style.
I don't understand what that means. All I can think of is Project Runway, and none of those outfits look like hair. So what is avant-garde hair?
It's like cutting edge.
No, I understand the definition of avant-garde.
My mother dressed me, I told you many times, like a 50-year-old divorcee.
Okay, but what
that included my haircuts.
What
sometimes.
Shape was your haircut?
What shape was it? You mean what sex was it? Because I kept being called boy, and I was referred to as her son multiple times, and they weren't pointing at my brother.
Well, did you have this voice back then?
Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean, you get it, right?
I'll pull up some pictures of it. Didn't I ever tell you that? I had basically a mullet, not by choice, but my hair had been layered and grown out. It was the summer before 7th grade. My hair looked awful. I was at sleepaway camp all summer. Came home, got to go to the fancy salon with my mom. I was so happy. And my mom clearly had words with Christopher, my old hairdresser who I adored. And the next thing I know, I felt like electric buzzers going up the back. Like they cut all my hair off, like a short haircut. Now, I'm not knocking anyone with short hair. Trust me, if I could pull off a pixie cut.
Yeah, I'm not built for that.
I would have done it from like age 8 on, okay?
My head is not shaped for a pixie.
No, neither is my body, okay?
Mine.
But when he turned me around and I saw the hair, had a lump in my throat, so of course I didn't say a word in the salon because I was mortified. I was hysterically crying the whole way home, screaming at my mom saying, you have to buy me a wig, and then like almost pleading with her because I started school in a few days. And my mom couldn't handle it. She's like, you're being so dramatic, knock it off, da-da-da.
Why did your mom get to secretly tell the hairdresser what to do with your hair?
I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming that she did. Again, that never came out.
No
I didn't
hairdresser is just going to zip off your hair without you asking.
You never know. Have you ever been in a hair show? Oy vey, that's another story for another time. No. But I went so crazy on my mom. My mom's like, that's enough. I'm going to take you by Rana's. That's my mom's best friend. It was like a second mother to me. She goes, I'm going to stop by Rana's on the way home and you can let her give you her opinion. She won't lie to you. And we knocked on the door. This is pre-cell phone, but I'm guessing, no, my mom couldn't have even called her. We knocked on the door and I'm standing there and she sees the tears in my eyes and Rana opens the door and her eyes get huge. And she goes, oh, honey. She's from Boston and has a real thick accent. But we were in Atlanta. She's like, "Oh, honey, you look like an esprit mortal." Oh God! She didn't know what to say. She couldn't muster up the lie, and God bless you for not doing it. Nobody needed to be lied to. She couldn't even choke out, "You look so cute," or "I love your hair." No. She said, "You look like an esprit mortal." Oh my God. So I will post a picture.
I need to see it.
Circa 7th grade, Jessica's, quote, esprit model haircut.
Okay. I have to tell you something, and I want to tell it to you because I think it's so funny, and I hope it doesn't offend you.
Yeah, of course.
Is that the best opening to a story?
Strap yourselves in.
Here we go. So we make those little audio clips. Another reason to follow us on social media is we do little teasers of the episodes and make these little video clips and Jessica puts together these awesome pictures and it's really cute and funny. So which one was it? I had a family member of mine listen to one of them that was yours. I was like, you got to hear this. It's so funny. What's the latest one we did that was you?
I don't think we did it.
No, we have. I can't remember because it was in my phone. Anyway, I played it
the jaw harp?
Maybe jaw harp.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't remember. Anyway, it was something to do with you. And you were telling a story and I played it for this family member and I said, this is my podcast partner, Jessica. And I pressed play and they listened for a minute and all of a sudden they go, Jessica? So taken aback. I go, yeah, that's her name, Jessica. Her name? I said, yes, her name is Jessica. Oh my God. That's a woman? Like they could not even comprehend how your voice was coming out of it. I said, yes, let me show you a picture. So I showed a picture and they were like, oh, she's lovely. That's her voice. I was dying.
I'm dying, and I love that you thought I might be offended because you know that this happens to me every day.
All the time. I know, but I just didn't want to.
And people have no problem telling me, well, that doesn't sound like a woman.
It was so honest. Jessica! I just died.
I'm pretty sure one of our listeners in Mississippi has a group of coworkers who didn't believe her until she could show them pictures of me and her throughout the last 20 years. That it was in fact me and that was my voice and that I was in fact a woman.
I was like, I don't know what it was just one word questions and responses at first. And I was like, when are they going to ask if she's trans? Like I expected that to, but it didn't. I showed pictures and they were like, oh, she's lovely.
Unbelievable.
It just made me laugh so hard. It reminded me of that story you told on the show about the homeless person who was sticking up for you but called you a man.
All right. Whatever. I had your back, dude. Yeah, why is everybody coming down on him?
Oh my God.
Oh, that's so
kills
ridiculous.
Me. Okay, we should probably move into our raves.
My God. This is like the Halloween episode. It's like the Paul Lind Halloween special.
Oh God. Okay, so for my rave this week, I thought this was kind of apropos because of our show. We're constantly bringing up charity organizations and things, and we try to do some research to make sure it's not like some crazy person or crazy people. But I found this place, and I don't know a ton about them, but I went on their website and did some research. So if any of you are familiar with them and we need some correction corner, please let us know. I'm always willing to admit when I'm wrong and tell you your friends aren't asking you to go places. But this is called givewell.org. And I'm just going to read to you from their website what they are. I think it's really awesome. GiveWell is a nonprofit dedicated to finding outstanding giving opportunities and publishing the full details of our analysis to help donors decide where to give. Unlike charity evaluators that focus solely on financials, assessing administrative or fundraising costs, we conduct in-depth research aiming to determine how much good a given program accomplishes in terms of lives saved, lives improved per dollar spent. So they do the research over years on some of these on some of these organizations. We do this rather than try to rate as many charities as possible. We focus on a few charities that stand out most by our criteria in order to find and confidently recommend a high impact giving opportunity. Also on their website, they say you'll find information here on how GiveWell works. GiveWell's mission is to find outstanding charities and publish the full details to help you decide where you want to give. Our focus is on finding outstanding charities. We have certain criteria, and they have a list where you can go by effectiveness as supported by evidence, the program the charity is implementing saves or improves lives, cost effectiveness, how much bang for the buck, room for more funding, and the charity's ability to put additional donations to use, and transparency. So basically, they will find charity organizations and do research on how much of your money actually goes to what they say, right? And I think we all worry about that because there are so many scams out there. Yeah. So anyway, they don't have a ton that they do it on, but some of the top ones. And they update that information. They are completely funded by private donors. They take no advertising dollars. They take no sponsorship requests. It's literally just by a few people that are like, we want to make sure people are giving to the right places. Right. So I thought, considering what our podcast is about and that we're always raving about charity organizations, especially if it's a larger one, feel free to do the research, guys. And if we're wrong, we'll come back and tell people.
Of course.
So givewell.org is a good place to go if you want to make a donation. It also tells you like what tax availability is, if it's deductible, all these different, there's lots of information, and it does studies over years, and you can look back on those to see. And there are times that they have removed charity organizations from their suggestions due to not fitting the criteria anymore. Right. So I thought that was really interesting and maybe something valuable to some of our listeners.
No, I think it's great. And yes, there's a lot of things that are very well known out there that people just assume,
it's good.
Yeah, no pun intended, but Goodwill, for example. And I'm not trying to knock Goodwill, but I just cringe so many times, especially like on Facebook all the time. I see people saying, anybody want this up for grabs, or I'm selling this table for $10. If not, it's going to Goodwill. And I see that, I'm not making that up, like constantly I see people saying, it's just going to go to Goodwill if I don't sell it. Well, there's so many organizations that you can give it to, like the Veterans is an amazing organization.
Oh, that's interesting. You brought that up. There's actually another organization I'm going to profile on a future episode.
Really?
Veterans really need help. Yes. They really do. Yeah.
And a lot of the times, like my dad, that's who he gives anything to when they donate anything from the home and any clothing that's usable and like in good enough condition to give someone. My dad always gives to the veterans. And a lot of it too, sometimes like the housewares and the furniture goes to house people or people who are being set up or don't have money coming back from things. So it's going directly there. One of our listeners that we love, Miss Tracy Meyer, just donated her huge sectional to the veterans.
Oh, wow.
And they were so grateful. And there's so many good organizations to give to.
It's just a matter of it coming in front of your face or you doing a second's worth of research. Yep. We're also used to Goodwill, Salvation Army. And not to say that they haven't done good things, but there's also a lot of scandal behind those organizations as well. And I'm obviously we don't need to talk about that. I'm just saying there are other organizations, and that's part of our mission is to get to help people find other things too. So anyway, that givewell.org if you want to check out some of the bigger ones. Yeah,
I'm going to do some of my research. I know that. I have a quick rave this week that's just a really fun, feel-good story.
I love it so much.
Data and I just went crazy with this woman, and I can't wait to post some of these pictures. 89-year-old Japanese grandma discovers photography, can't stop taking hilarious self-portraits now.
They are so amazing.
They're stunning. And again, 89. Oh, God, I love it.
Never stop living, guys.
No. Here's one of her dressed like an angel, kind of like leaping midair with a stunning bird flying towards her. Unless that was
so like fairy, crouching tiger, hidden dragon.
It really is.
It's amazing.
Most people think technology is for young people, but nobody told Kimiko Nishimoto that. She's an 89-year-old Japanese grandma who's been snapping and editing her own pictures for the last 17 years. And as you can see below, her style is certainly unique. She didn't get into photography until she was 72 years old.
Love it.
I mean, we've talked about this before, but for real, like people finding a calling.
Yes.
Or I've known quite a few women over the last years who've gone back to school in their late 50s, early 60s to become therapists, to become lawyers.
It is never too late.
Yes.
Literally, that's a true thing, guys. Yeah. It's never too late.
It's not. She didn't get into photography until she was 72 years old. Her son was teaching a beginner's course, and so she decided to enroll. It's even cuter. Unaware that she was about to awake a passion and a talent she never even knew she had. She instantly fell in love with photography and set about snapping various quirky and comical self-portraits. She also had her first solo exhibition 10 years later at a local museum in her hometown of Kumamoto, and now she's about to have her work exhibited at Tokyo's Epson Epsite Imaging Gallery. Titled Asobokane, pardon my pronunciation, Asobokane, meaning let's play, the exhibition will feature previously unseen work from the octogenarian artist. So if you happen to be in Tokyo, I wish, then be sure to check it out. It's hilarious.
It's
some
just
of them,
joy. It's just like some of them are so goofy.
This one, she has 2 like permanent markers
stuck up her nostrils. And she has like a bath cap on or something. I'm not sure.
This one, she made it look like she wiped out on a Vespa. Yeah. And there's clearly like traffic behind her. That's what made me laugh too. This one, walking in a kimono with a woven basket and then some kind of elastics that she's put around her face, guzzling beer with a giant beer mug / wig that she made. It looks like her head is a beer mug with her face on it, and then she is dribbling beer out her mouth, and there are 4 empty beer cans. It's too amazing. What is that one where she's like dressed like a dinosaur? I can't. Or getting hit by a bus. She's too funny, and it's just pure joy. This one, she wrapped herself up in plastic and set herself out by the trash. These are amazing. You guys are going to love it. Some of them are really funny, and some of them are really pretty, and like it's just a plethora of feelings. But I love that, like, just again finding that youthful exuberance. You see it with no self-judgment. No, she's just doing what she feels. She's just being silly. She's like, I just need to put elastic around my face. I just need my head to be a beer. It's really cute. I love it. And I love that someone's getting to be creative, because I think that too is something awesome and that can help people throughout their whole life. Yes. Yeah. It's a purpose. It's a hobby. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I love her. We have to post some pictures. Yeah, she's awesome. Jessica. Dana. I think that's our show. I think that's the end of our late night show. Oh my God, you guys. It's legitimately 1:15 in the morning. Pacific time. It's 4 a.m. for you East Coasters. Thank you, Jessica, for coming over. Thank you for having me over. And we want you listeners to know this is how important you are to us. Yes. Because we wanted to make sure we had a new episode for this week. So usually I go out with a thought to ponder or something cool that I think you should check out. And I think we all know that I am aware I'm a walking train wreck and that I read self-help books because as a fun time. It's a fun time activity for me. Buy them on Audible. If you post it, I'll probably buy it, right? I should bring you the ones I've bought and never read. Oh, you should, because I'll get through them and I'll tell you what they're about. And then I'll be like, you should buy this book. And you can be like, I did. I gave it to you. Sounds absolutely right. So today I have 3 books and 2 of them are by the same author. They're kind of go together. But what I did was I've separated them into, if you're a foul-mouthed heathen like me, you'll like these 2 books. And if you are a little more conservative and don't need the F word every other sentence, then I've got another one for you.
So I'm a big fan of Sarah Knight, and she's my dirty mouthed life advice giver. The two books I love. She's got You Do You is the first one I ever got, and it was just about being yourself and not being ashamed about it. It's really great. So You Do You, I hadn't planned on saying that one, but that's how I was introduced to her. But the ones I love are Get Your Shit Together and Calm the Fuck Down. And she's just no holds barred, tell it like it is, let's get through life in a great way kind of writer. And I love it. So those are her two books. But if you're a little more conservative and don't need all the cursing to make you giggle like you're doing something bad,
I need the cursing.
I know, I do too. If I'm trying to help myself, there's going to be some cursing.
Yes.
But I also just finished reading. It's a little more conservative. And listen, nobody's reinventing the wheel. When people say, I can't listen to self-help, it's all the same shit. Well, yeah, but it's good to remind yourself sometimes. Yeah. So this one's a little more conservative, and it's by Rachel Hollis. Some of you might know her. She's actually a blog. She's a home designer and a blog person and whatever. But anyway, her book is called Girl Wash Your Face.
I just bought that.
Are you serious?
I swear.
I just finished reading it.
I bought it and have not cracked it open.
Of course. You should have given it to me. One of her quotes, just to give you an idea,
hilarious.
And we don't talk about religion or politics very much, but I have certainly said I was raised religious, so these kinds of things don't bother me. And I wouldn't say it's hugely pushed in this book, but this is an example of a quote from her book. God has perfect timing. You can say the universe or higher power, whatever you want, has perfect timing, and it's highly possible that by not being where you thought you should be, you will end up exactly where you're meant to go. I believe that so wholeheartedly. We just got to keep pushing on, and it's okay to have goals. But if you don't get where you thought you were going to be based on societal standards or what your own personal goals were, whatever, it might just be you had to get close to there to find your real path. And that's okay. So anyway, that's just a little quote from her book. So those are the three books I'm mentioning today. Get Your Shit Together, Calm the Fuck Down, and Girl Wash Your Face. Have a greght week, everybody.
And wash your face.
Go wash your face. Jeez, it's 1:20 in the morning. Go wash your face.
Night.
Night.